This is ours?
Yeah.
Yeah, good to go.
Okay, it's 5 p.m. We will call this meeting to order. First, let's say the prayer and the pledge. I would ask everyone to stand for both. Dr. Whaley, will you lead us?
Father, we just thank you for this great country that makes it possible for us to have a successful life and to be of service. We ask you to bless this county. We ask you to bless this city. Bless our deliberations. Father, we ask you to give us a good heart and a level head to make appropriate decisions for the good of the county. We thank you for the blessings that you've given to this country. Father, at this last minute, I ask you to bless the people of the Ukraine. Relieve them from their suffering, and Father, make us grateful for the blessings that you gave us. Make us worthy of the responsibilities that you give us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from previous meetings. We have two. The first one is from February the 15th, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passed. The next minutes are from March the 1st, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. The next items are approval of agenda or motion to amend the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Raise your hand again, everyone. Okay, we have 5. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes to approve the agenda. The next item is public hearing for rezoning of appeals or for ordinances, in this case ordinances. Our first ordinance is a second reading, and I will let our attorney go over this ordinance. And it is involving the Planning Commission and the appointments.
This is an ordinance to provide for the appointment of the Planning Commission and to change the way the current code reads. This would provide that all 5 members of the Planning Commission shall be appointed by the affirmative and majority vote of the City Council. At the next meeting, if you approve this ordinance tonight, at the next mayor and council meeting, you will vote 3 planning commission members to serve a term of 4 years and 2 planning commission members to serve terms of 2 years, so that their terms will be staggered thereafter. And then there were a few inconsistencies in the code in terms of age requirements and those kinds of things that this clears up and clarifies.
Do you have any questions from the council? All right. So I would like to have a motion to adopt the second reading of this ordinance. And this is ordinance number, make sure I've got the right one, we have several here. BR 2022-04. Do I have a motion to accept this, to pass this ordinance?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and we're going to do a roll call vote on this one. Whaley? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And Jack?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
And Bill?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, the next ordinance is a second reading, and this one involves short-term rentals. And again, I'll let our attorney explain what's going on with this one.
This ordinance is really just kind of a housekeeping ordinance, but when the city limited short-term rentals to certain zoning categories, there was a provision in there that for a certain period of time allowed for short-term rentals by special use, but that period of time was only for, if I recall correctly, I want to say it was 30 days after the passage of the ordinance. And so we're no longer, by the terms of the ordinance, supposed to be doing special use permits anyway, so this just eliminates the special use permit. Essentially, you have to be zoned in order to get the short-term rental permit.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the council?
I think this is the ideal place to let the public know that our city administrator has issued a monthly status report, which is public information. I think it is public notice. And explaining these things, not just to us, but to everybody out there that's interested in it. And it takes necessity for the debate and argument about it out of it. And his report also has in it what we spend, when we spend it on, and so forth. And I want to commend him for that, and it makes this part of our job a lot easier.
Yes.
So I move it's approved.
Okay. Do I have a second? And let's give the ordinance number actually. That is ordinance number BR 2022-05. So do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote on this one. Mr. Whaley? Yes.
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Yes.
And Bill. Okay, motion passes for BR 2022-05. Okay, the next item is under C, and this one is for our traffic code. And again, I will let our attorney go over this one. It's a first reading for this ordinance.
This is an ordinance to amend the existing parking ordinance, if you will. And if adopted, it would essentially say that you can't park a motor vehicle within the city in any zone where it's posted as prohibited or restricted parking. And then it goes on to have some specific applications to that. For example, you can't park a vehicle within 15 feet of any fire plug or intersection in the city. Now, that's part of the existing code anyway. But I think for our purposes, the most significant is that if this is adopted, would be a 3-hour parking limit between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. in the downtown business district, more specifically described as East Main Street between Church Street and Mountain Street, West Main Street between Depot Street and Mountain Street. First violation will be punishable by a fine of $50, second violation by a fine of $100, and each violation thereafter would be a fine of $250.
Do I have any questions in reference to the parking traffic ordinance? Okay, so this was the first reading. Next month, we will have our second reading on this, where we will vote officially.
And I would ask Madam Mayor to point out to those assembled that this is the first, as far as I'm concerned, public publishing of the number of available parking spaces of various types in the city. And point out that if there are 255 parking places that employees and business owners can park, then it would be counterproductive to prohibit other people from parking there if they're not in it. But that's too many.
Exactly.
I just wanted to make that part clear.
And I will expand on it just a little bit. We are actually going to be giving permits to businesses in the downtown area, and we will have them approach us about receiving their permits based on their business license. A lot of business owners already park off-site behind their buildings, and so they would not require those. But as soon as this goes in place, we will give permits to the businesses in that downtown district, and they will display them on their dash. So.
So be for the business owners and employees.
Yes, based on their number of, that they turn in with their business license, yep.
And then they'll have like the designated
Areas, yes, yep. And we will post all this on our website as well. In fact, I think it's on there right now. We'll get all this finalized and get it posted. And if you want a copy of the numbers that Mr. Whaley's referring to, we can, that's actually, we'll put that on our website as well.
The ordinance will be on the website.
Yes,
And this is
yeah.
the third page of the ordinance.
Yeah,
It's along the map.
yep,
Is this in the package?
it was,
Is that on the website?
yep, it's on the website, yep. So definitely take a look at that, the number of parking spaces, and I actually identified 2 more private parking spaces today that I wasn't even aware of, so they're downtown, just small spaces. Okay, so moving on to the next item. And this, again, is another first reading, establishing general purchasing regulations, so I will let our attorney go over this one as well.
This is an ordinance that would basically set forth a policy in terms of how purchases are made in the city. And just so everybody knows, because I think there may be a little bit of confusion, but the city can't spend money that's not in the approved budget. So when the mayor and council approve a budget, that is the authority for the city to go out and spend money. And the example that I'll use is, if there's $100,000 to spend on sewer pipe in the budget, that's what you can spend on sewer pipe unless you amend the budget. What this policy would do would be within the confines of the budget. So for expenditures that have already been approved by the mayor and council in the budget, for purchases of less than $5,000, it would essentially allow the city administrator to just make those purchases. For purchases between $5,000 and $75,000, the city administrator would still have the authority to make those purchases without further approval for the mayor and council, provided that the city administrator gets 2 written quotes for vendors on those purchases. Purchases of $75,000 or more would have to be approved once again by the mayor and council, even though they're already in the budget. I do also want to point out that in addition to these requirements, there are state laws that govern, that have specific purchasing requirements. For example, public works construction, what I call bricks and mortar. Any public works construction project over $100,000 has a special set of requirements that we have to follow in terms of sealed bids and advertising and whatnot. So this would not in any way, affect our obligations under state law. Those are what they are. But for purchases that have already been approved in the budget, this is if you adopt this is the policy moving forward.
Sorry? Question?
Yes. So, the budget previously has not really been real, I don't think it's been as
In depth?
specific, yes, as it should be. So, budget where it specifies $50,000 for whatever, and then you know exactly if you want to spend up to whatever, or I mean, it's within that, and you know, very clear.
In fact, I was speaking with Eric today, we were talking about the budget for next year, and everything's going to be definitely identified more. If you need, you're going to spend $10,000 on signs for the street department, it will be in there.
Okay.
Or you need 2 cars for the police department, that will be included in that, and it wouldn't have to be voted on like we're having to vote on it tonight. So those things will be included, and you guys will vote on that. Overall, it will be more specified than it has been in the past.
Yes, in the past, it, like, police cars have been in the budget, but then it's still
Yeah.
going back to the council.
Yeah, which is kind of,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yes, Mr. Whaley?
I just want to make clarification for the audience, since I know that there is some misunderstanding. This does not give the city manager the authority to spend up to $75,000 taking 2 bids on something that's not in the budget and has not been approved by the city council as a whole. It's not a blank check, it's an administrative speed up to eliminate the necessity for repeatedly affirming what was already done when the budget was set up.
Correct.
It's just a business-like way of spending the money under your budget. I don't want the people out there to think we're authorizing him to spend $75,000. We're not.
Yes.
We're authorizing him to spend $75,000 that we have already approved
Correct.
without having to come back and let us approve a second time.
And it,
That was not well understood by the public.
okay. Yeah, and hopefully the newspaper can make sure that's very clear to the public that we're just trying to make this run as an effective business. And it's in there, they will vote on it. Anything that's not, we'll bring back to the council.
Okay, so anything that's not in the budget, 5,000, 2,000, whatever, it comes back to the council.
If it's above
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of what we have now, so. Okay, so this is our first reading. Do we have any more? Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's hard to miss somebody at 6'2", 225.
I had my head screwed.
It's all right. So on the bids,
Uh-huh.
does the council get to see the bids, or just the city administrator just choose what he wants for the bids? Who he wants
So
for
if it's
the
over 75,000, it's a formal bid that has to be approved by the council.
bids? Okay.
And you'll see the tabulation sheet and the attachments.
And if it's under, what he would do is choose and let you know exactly what was chosen and why. And then you'll be notified if you are contacted.
At no point does he have, the obligation or permission to spend whatever he wants to. This is all stuff that's been allotted in the budget.
Sound good, everyone? It just makes us run a more efficient.
It's already a pre-approved project, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so we will have our second reading next month on purchasing ordinance. The next item on the agenda, number 6, is the consent agenda, which we have four items on there. Basically, 3 resolutions to allow me to sign for loans that we've had in the past. We've already been working on these loans for several years. So that's just allowing me to sign them, and this is part of a resolution. And then the first one is just a motion for the vehicle. So do I have a motion for us to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote on this one. Dr. Whaley? Yes. Angie?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Christie? And Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Motion, consent agenda passes. Okay, the next item is action items. We have really nothing else on that, I believe. And reports, let me go ahead and say the report that Dr. Whaley was speaking about earlier is going to be, it will be on our website. It probably is already. And we'll push it out through Facebook. But it is a very in-depth report from all of our departments. We're having department head meetings every 2 weeks. And they're presenting reports to our city administrator. And he has composed reports that are very in-depth, including everything involving our taxes, every department, every arrest we've made. It gives numbers so that you guys everything is transparent to the public. That's what our goal is for you guys. So we'll be putting these on our website, we'll be putting them out through Facebook every month when we receive them. And as Dr. Bowley said, Eric, you've done a great job with them. They are wonderful, so we appreciate that. And the next section is public comments. We do have several people for public comments. If you will, you have 3 minutes when you come up to the microphone. If you will, please state your name, and then you will have 3 minutes to give your public comment. First person is Cesar Martinez, and actually he's A and B. Are you actually speaking on behalf of the DDA?
Not unless Angie wants to.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Cesar Martinez, President of the Business Association, also Vice Chair of the Downtown Development Authority. So as far as the Business Association update, we have just finished picking up our new 2022 walking maps. So I'll hand one out to you guys. These are being distributed right now to all the businesses downtown and around Blue Ridge in general, not just downtown. We print 40,000 of these, and they'll be distributed even to, as, if we can, we'll get them to some of the visitor places coming into the state. Some of them are not doing those right now, but where we can, we will. So that's the new one that's out there. That's also what the city's using as their base for the map that you're putting on your site. Okay. So that's the big news with the Business Association. We had a very successful Fire and Ice Festival. I hope you got a chance to go. Everybody had a good time, from what I understand. I wasn't there, but hopefully everybody had a good time. As far as the DDA, I'm assuming, Angie, I don't know if you updated anybody. Our joint council DDA meeting, if you missed it, you can go and watch the video, which is out there. I think that's on the website now. You can. The ones that did miss it, we missed your input. If you would like to have input or any concerns or opportunities, please come to any of our meetings. We meet the first Monday of every month, 5:30. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, John Tucker.
Hi, my name's John Tucker. Had an opportunity to talk to your mayor and the city administrator a couple weeks ago. And she told a story about being in line at a grocery store. And somebody in front of her had said, asked the cashier, hey, where's the closest liquor store? And they said, you gotta go to LJ or Murphy. My partner, Martin Harder, and I would like for the city council to at least look at putting in, letting us put in a package store. Between Gomer and Pickens County, they were paid roughly $18.5 million the past year in revenue from alcohol sales. The little city of Holly Springs, which is just south of Canton, did a little over $1 million in revenue sales. So I'd like to ask city council to look at doing it, and then that way they can just tell them it's just around the corner. So, that's great. Any questions?
I have a question for our city attorney. Is this not usually a county, can be a city?
Yeah, either or, but it's if it's a municipality, it would be passed as a municipality.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, the next person is Shannon Marin. Is that how you say your last name?
Marin.
Marin.
Hello, I'm Shannon Marin, this is my husband Kelly Marin. We own the Copper Express, the little train in Copper Hill. We've been getting a lot of popularity over there, doing city tours with some mining history. We've been aware of the parking issue over here. We've had some business owners ask us to come over here to move people around. So we purchased a couple of dolly trolleys, like vintage 1920 styles. And we wanted to know if anybody, would be interested in having us over here with those to do daily service around town. Or if there's any
Basically making a
ordinances.
loop through the main downtown entrance and just basically being able to move people away.
It's
If there's a farther parking, let's say the fairgrounds or something,
There'd be
it'd be on a loop, that way every 15 or, once it'd be timed out, then we'd actually know. But that way, there could be alternate parking for the downtown area as well.
just to help move people around the city. It won't look like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be our colors, so it'd be a copper, a metallic copper, black and white.
It's all oak on the inside, oak benches, bronze railings, really beautiful. I don't know what ordinances there are, what we need to comply with.
What I would suggest, if you will call City Hall and just ask for, you can schedule an appointment with me and Mr. Soroka, and we will go for everything. Okay?
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Henry Harmon is here today. I don't see him. Okay. Okay? Yeah, Martin Vasquez.
Hello. My name is Martin Velasquez. I have owned a home here in Farmington for 20 years. I have several properties located in the city of Blue Ridge, and I have been a taxpayer here for 18 years. I would also like there to be a referendum made to allow package sales in the city of Blue Ridge. And I would like to officially put my name in to apply for a package license. If and when a referendum is passed, I will be willing to help pay for a special election for this November, so if it doesn't cost the citizens of our city anymore. I already have a commercial building that I intend to use for a location with architectural rendering and plans for my place of business. I have 24 restaurants, each with a liquor license, so I know the process and can pass any federal and state background checks necessary, as well as the funds available for this process. I have been waiting to approach the City Council about making the request for the referendum out of respect for the new council members, to give them a few months to get comfortable in their new positions. I feel like our city is missing out on the stream of revenue that could be a great use for crucial infrastructure repair and updates and policy revenue. Our own residents and tourists are instead funding the cities of Elijah and Murphy, and there is no reason for our city to be losing this money with other cities. So that's the reason why I'm here, and we love to have our name in the list. We know what we're doing. We've been selling alcohol in Atlanta and in Georgia for a long time. I love the city of Blue Ridge. I fall in love with the city, and I love to invest more, to have businesses here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And council, I will let you know if that is something that you want to pursue, we can talk about it over the next month. And you would have to vote to put it as a referendum item, and you would only vote to put it out as a voting option for the next election. So we'll talk about that more. We have had several people, but that's totally up to you guys whether you choose to even put it on the agenda. So just so we're aware of that. Okay, the next person is Elliot Wilburn, and you want to talk about alcohol too, looks like.
Will do.
Okay.
First and foremost, congratulations on the new council. I came here 9 years ago, had an establishment here that's considered the first establishment with alcohol, known as the Whistle Stop, long before. I'm no longer association with what is there now. However, I started a barbecue place on the side of the road on Old 5 years ago, and left there due to the landlord decided to do something silly, go to prison. So guilty by association, nobody came back. I decided to head to Elijah and open up a small restaurant, 40-person, which is in the county. They do not allow liquor, however, I'm not going to have it there, just for the simple fact of my Sunday crowd that does come and they visit me. I'm open 7 days a week, 11 to 5. With that being said, I'm wanting to open up another location, and I just actually signed a 5-year lease Saturday for 322 West Main Street on the second level deck, where the new 200 parking lot deck is. I'm asking a understanding of a ordinance that is in section 631. It states, good moral character, bad given debt, so that's no problem, but it states a resident of the county can only hold their first name on the license. However, a manager or a resident who is partner or taking a profit, or whoever's in the business may also be on there. However, my name, even though I live in Gilmer, has to be on there as well. If you have a server who also has to pay a fee to pour the liquor license and apply for their permit, their difference between me and them is about $2,970. The liability thing is what I'm scared of. If I put somebody, say a manager, and they decease, or they pass away, or they move on because we know employment's not that really good right now, turnover's a high rate. I have to stop, close my doors, stop giving a revenue stream to the city, and also let all the employees that I have there say, hey, I can't pay you because I can't work or I can't serve alcohol. So I'm asking today to see if there is some type of reasoning why there is a must-have resident to be here. I'm paying the same 0.03%. I'm paying the same $3,000 a month. I know there's business owners that live in other countries that have multiple businesses here. Granted, yes, they probably have a manager that has it. That's fine. I'm a sole owner and don't plan on having a manager because we're not that big of a restaurant there. It's a serving and catering style of a restaurant. So I'm just looking to find out the understanding of it.
Thank you, Elliot. Hey, call me, call City Hall, we'll talk. Okay, at this time, we're going to we need to enter into executive session to discuss litigation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Everyone in favor, raise your hand, please. Okay. Motion passes. And for all of you in the audience, I do not expect any action after